Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Black Girl Creative. My name is Alecia Renece, and I am so happy that you are here. Alrighty. So, today's a little different. We actually have a question and answer for you guys. And, this question comes from Miss Rocio Gold. You can follow her on Instagram at ROCIO Gold Music. And that's on Instagram. Her music is amazing. She's so talented, so sweet. Like, her voice is just just pure gold. It's a perfect name. So her question says, my question to you is, do you ever experience a slump or numbness after completing a big project? And how do you find the motivation to keep working and going back to your disciplines after completing it? Even my spiritual disciplines are struggling. It's hard to talk about this with other people because I don't want to sound ungrateful or like I'm not proud of my achievements, but I don't like struggling with this. So first of all, I answered this question for her in her inbox, but I'm so grateful that she allowed me to share it with you guys because I feel like it's really important to talk about. All we see people putting out projects and stuff like that, and we think that they're just like riding this high the whole time. Like they think, people looking on from the outside are thinking, oh my God, like they're so confident, they put out all this music, and then now it's over. And so we're kind of just left as artists with like this thought like, oh, is that it? What's next? So I'm going to share my answer with you guys, the answer that I shared with her. So first of all, I definitely struggle with this post-project slump. I think a lot of creatives do. And to be honest, sometimes I give into that slump. I think it's healthy in some ways. After completing a huge project, your mind and your soul need time to rest. We work so hard and put so much energy into our work, into marketing, that we deplete ourselves. And sometimes recreation and rest and play is what we really need. I believe sometimes that what we need to feel is just rest to be able to reflect on what our body needs. So the feeling of being slumped and kind of like in this place of, I don't know, like, whoa, what's next? Like, do I have to do the next thing? I feel like a big problem that creatives have is that they hit the big project, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, on to the next thing. We got to keep creating. But we never really take time to really honor our projects, to celebrate them, and to really just relax and rest. Like you put in a lot of work. Like it's okay to rest. Like you're worth rest, first of all. I know rest is what we talk about all the time here. But really, after putting out a huge project, it's really okay for you to sit and do nothing. It really is okay. Contrary to what other people make you believe, like the world will tell you, no, you got to keep pumping out stuff, but you're not a machine. You're a human being, and you need human experiences to create more art. And so if you're not resting, if you're not playing, if you're not doing something that's recreational, then you're really just working yourself to death. You're not really playing enough so that you can get those experiences to create better art. The more you live, the more you rest, the better you create. So going on in this answer, I believe that sometimes what we feel is a reflection of what our body needs. Even God calls us to rest the land. And I think that we are God's land. We are his fruit. If what we're creating isn't packed with nutrients like overworked soil, so to speak, it may be time to rest and take a break. So this example I give, if you're a farmer or someone who farms or maybe you garden, you know that you cannot keep planting every single year. You're not supposed to do that because you'll take all the nutrition out of the soil. You'll take all the nutrition out of the plants. Your soil will be overworked. And so the fruit that you end up with will be drained. It'll just be like blah, like just kind of just content for the sake of content, right? But it's not filled with the healthy, nutritious stuff. The problem with the ground here in America is that, I don't know, whoever's listening from other countries, our lands are overworked. Like the fruit and the vegetables that we have here do not compare to those outside of the country because they allow their land to rest. There's not such demand for fresh fruit and vegetables and all this other stuff and to create stuff out of season. Like every other culture, like there's a season for everything. Like there's a season for squash and like pumpkins and apples and all that stuff. That's like fall. There's a time for strawberries and peaches and all this good stuff. Maybe that's summer, right? But the problem is here, this culture is about like, make, do, keep putting out stuff, right? And so we start to believe that there's something wrong with us when we take a season or a sabbatical of not doing anything at all, of playing around and resting. We start to feel like, dang, like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do that. Maybe it's not, it's not okay for me to do that thing. And to that I say, don't listen to that no more. That's not true. If we are God's land, right? If we are his fertile place, if we keep putting out stuff without rest, if we keep putting out this stuff just for the sake of putting out stuff, our stuff is going to have no nutritional value, so to speak, right? So our art will just be like, well, I just posted this because I needed to post it. I just made this song because I know I'm on a time crunch and I should have a song out by now. I don't know, whatever you create, like you're just going to create for the sake of creating, which is fine if you're doing it for fun. I'm stuttering, y'all. If you're doing it for fun, it's fine. If you're doing it for the sake of pleasing other people, that's a problem, right? Like, we should work in our seasons. Every season isn't summer, y'all. Every season isn't harvest. Every season isn't winter. But I feel like one thing that winter shows us is that it's okay to rest. Like, you look at the trees outside, they look dead, right? The sky looks gray. It's kind of like blah. Like, there's nothing fruitful happening. So we see, right? But in winter, the trees are showing us that you need time to rest, right? When you think of the makeup of a tree, the leaves are out there to catch the sunlight. There's not that much sun in the wintertime, here in America anyway. Like, there's not that much sun. Like, it's very gray. There's not a lot of rain it's getting. It's mostly like either snow or it's just dry. And so trees are smart because when they start to experience a drought, they drop their leaves. They say, oh, not right now. Like, I can't have leaves right now because I have to sustain those leaves with water. And if they know, like, hey, we're not getting a lot of water this season, we're going to shed our leaves. My mother had a tree like this in her front yard where she was kind of questioning, like, is the tree sick? Because the leaves were falling off. So I, did a little research and I was just amazed because God is just so amazing. And so there's like a lesson in everything that he creates. So the trees, again, they drop the leaves, and this was in the summertime. Like, the trees were shedding and we were like, what's going on? They shed because it was a drought. They shed because they're like, I can't keep up these leaves and keep them healthy without forsaking myself. I'm not going to be a healthy tree if I keep these leaves. So what does the tree does? What does the tree do? It sheds its leaves and it says it's okay. Like, this isn't the last bloom we're going to have. There'll be more leaves in spring. And I feel like for us as artists, we have to replenish what we put out. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to rest. We have to heal. Like, when you look at athletes, they're not on it all the time. Like, people who not perform, but compete in the Olympics, they train for the Olympics specifically. And then after the Olympics, they rest because there's no way that their body can sustain that kind of exercise and that kind of weight and all this other stuff on it constantly. In the same way, you as an artist, there's no way that you can maintain all that doing, all that putting out, all that creating and marketing and not need a season of rest. Yes, even for play, even when we make stuff for play, there are times where we need to listen to our bodies and be like, I can't do anything right now. And the fear is that we've lost our creativity somehow, or we've lost our zest, or like, oh my God, I'm failing. No, like, just listen to your body. Is your body telling you to take a nap? Take a nap. Is it telling you, hey, I'm kind of bored with this thing. I need to go hang out with my friends. It's COVID, so be careful. But I need to hang out with my friends to be able to replenish what I've put out, especially for marketing your art. You're marketing your art to people who don't know you, who don't necessarily care about you, who aren't really invested in you as a person. And so you're doing all this work, pleading with them to pay attention to you, pleading with them to buy your art and all this other stuff that weighs on you emotionally. After a while, you're performing. And so you need to be around people who will remind you that you're worthy without having to perform. And so if we are God's soil, if we are his masterpiece, right? If he tells us you have to rest, like, there's no choice. Like, you must rest. You must honor Sabbath, right? There might be something to that. Like, there might be something to resting and not doing anything at all. So if we want to make quality art, it is important that we allow those slumps to come and just be okay with it, because you will create again. You will make something great again. You will be inspired again. There are seasons when I don't put out albums. There are seasons when I don't make music. But I'm living my life, and then all of a sudden I hear a dream, or I wake up with a tune in my heart, or I'm walking down the street doing everyday regular stuff, washing the dishes, taking a shower, and then all of a sudden a song will come to me, or an episode will come to me, right? Or a thought will come to me. And so it's really important that we're not forcing this art out of us. We're not forcing this art out of us for the sake of creating stuff, for the sake of putting stuff out there. Art, creativity is such a sacred and like fragile thing. It's a very fragile thing. And so we have to take care of it like it's a baby. Like it's a baby. You know what I'm saying? And we really have to question why we feel the need to always do, to always put out, and why do we feel like it's something wrong if our body's telling us to rest. So I continue this response and I say, like I said, I think we're God's land, and what we're creating, and if what we're creating isn't packed with nutrients like overworked soil, then it may be time to rest and take a break. The world tells us that we have to always be on and creative and productive all the time. And as artists, we need to spend more time in a state of rest and play. Also, I get into a slump when the outcome of my project isn't what I expected. I don't see you as ungrateful. I struggle with the same issue. And after putting out a big project and people have celebrated me and the project, it gets quiet and I'm left alone with my own thoughts. I start to question, am I worth it? Am I valuable? Like, am I valuable without my art? It gets quiet and it's kind of like, oh, like you kind of sit with yourself. Even if you put out an amazing project, at some point, people will stop saying, oh my God, it's so great. Like the fanfare will die down and you're sitting with your own thoughts. And it's not bad. Like, it's not bad that silence is important, but it does sometimes have you questioning your value and your worth as an artist. So it's important that we don't base our worth on what other people say about our art as well. And so, after putting out a big project and people have celebrated me in the project, it gets quiet and I'm left with my own thoughts, right? And so when I'm writing on the high of other people's accolades and reviews, I hit a slight depression afterwards. Then I question, will the next project be as good as the last one? And this causes me to get stuck in a kind of paralysis. Honestly, I let the creative process run its course. I try not to fret when I hit a slump. Creativity is inside of you. You can't lose it. Like it's a gift that God gave you. You can't rush it or force it. It's woven into the very makeup of who you are. Also, don't be so hard on yourself with your spiritual disciplines as well. Be gentle with yourself as Christ is gentle with us. Like we think, and I get stuck in the same thought process and I have to, go back to my pastor or my husband and be like, yo, like, am I doing this right? Like, is God happy with my performance? Using air quotes, performance, right? God doesn't want our performances. He just wants our hearts. He wants us to be ourselves. He knows how he made us. He knows how you feel. He knows you don't feel like reading the Bible today. You know what I'm saying? And some days, just being honest, I will say, God, I don't feel like praying. God, I don't feel like reading. I don't feel like doing all these disciplines and stuff like that. And you know what? God is big enough to hear it and take it and not throw you away. Like that's not how he operates. He wants our honesty more than our acts and our performance. He wants our honesty. And, like I said, sometimes all God needs is your presence and your pursuit of him. No matter how fast you go or how far or how slow, just as long as you're moving or as long as you're facing the right direction. There are seasons, even in our spiritual life. Like, it's not always summertime and happiness and joy and like, oh, this is amazing. No, like there are seasons of sorrow. There are seasons of questioning. There are seasons of anger and just all the emotions, right? Seasons of depression where you can't even get yourself out of bed, let alone read the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you don't think that, read through Psalms, okay? David was going through it. Read through any story in the Bible, to be honest. Like these people were depressed at least some point in their lives, and they were honest with God about it. God, my life sucks. That's why I love Psalm. That's why I love David. My life sucks. However, you still are God. You know what I'm saying? Like I still honor you. But yeah, no, life sucks right now. How come everybody else is being successful and I'm not? Like, what's up with that? He was okay. Like he was safe enough. He felt safe enough with his God to write something that would be held in the Bible for forever. I don't know if he knew it was going to be in the Bible, right? But he felt safe enough to be honest enough with his God to be like, yo, what's up? Like you say you're the God who protects and all this other stuff. Why are people beating me up so bad? Why are people talking about me so bad? Why does my heart hurt? Why am I so rejected? Like that's the honesty that God wants and needs from you. And so you can literally sit in silence and tell him you don't feel like doing anything or that you're tired or unmotivated. And like I said, he wants your honesty more than your acts. And so like I said, you'll be inspired again. You'll be inspired even in your relationship with God. Like you go through ups and downs, but it's not about performance. It's not about getting an A+ in everything. And I blame school culture for this. I blame the culture that we live in for this mindset. Like if you're not doing anything, you're not worthy. If you're not doing anything, you're not good enough. Like it's all a lie. You're good enough. You're worthy. He already knew that you didn't feel like talking to him. He's not surprised. He's not hurt. Like it's okay. And so I hope that, everyone was able to take something from this Q&A. Like I thought it was really important to share because I know in society that we're like performance-based. This is a performance-based society. Like they want you to be productive. If you didn't have the number one hit, then your art doesn't matter. I call BS on all that stuff. Like all that stuff, no. You're worthy, you matter. And it's okay to go in seasons, even with your art. Even with your art. So again, I hope this was helpful. This was a quick Q&A from Rocio Gold. Again, check her out. It's ROCIO Gold Music. And I'll put her link in the description so you can follow her and check out her music. And until next episode, you guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you got something from this. Let me know if you struggle with this, because I sure do. And until next episode, you guys, keep creating, keep sharing, keep showing up, because you, your art, and your life, it matters. Okay? Talk to y'all later. Bye.